Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's nightly news. To the headlines. The Algiers International Fair is open to the public after its inauguration by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who visited many booths, including the Pavilion of the Military Industries, which he qualified as a locomotive of the national industry. During the same event, the President of the Republic highlights the professionalism of Algerian companies such as VMS, and he calls them measures that lead to the improvement of the business climate. Army General Saïd Chingriha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, on a working and inspection visit to the High School of Administration in the 2nd Military Region in the province of Iran. And we continue with the military school's classes graduation ceremonies, this time the School of Command and Major Staff in addition to the Military Polytechnic School. The Algerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs categorically denies the news of the ministry requesting the Emirati ambassador to leave Algerian soil, reiterating the strength of Algerian-Emirati bilateral relations. Welcome again. First off, and after consulting the Prime Minister, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, terminated the duties of the Minister of Communication, Mohamed Bouslimani, and assigned the Secretary General to manage the ministry's affairs by interim. The Algiers International Fair opened its doors for the public on Wednesday after being inaugurated by the President of the Republic, who visited several booths starting from the Military Industries Pavilion, which he qualified as the engine of the national industry. The President of the Republic also stressed the necessity to promote national production and to reinforce partnerships agreements. Sabrin Tafrgini with the details.
The International Fair is considered as one of the crucial economic events in the agenda of the President of the Republic, an international economic event that reflects the state's determination to boost national economy's development process. The 54th Algiers International Fair was marked by the strong presence of the military industries, which the President of the Republic hailed the progress, describing these achievements as a source of pride for the country and for the National People's Army.
يا ريت الشهداء يكونوا يشوفوا ان شاء الله هما اللي بداوا بنادق صيد يشوفوا السليل جيش التحرير وين وصل. الحمد لله.
الله يقولوا خير وخلف لخير يسلم.
ان شاء الله مضمونه هذه بالنسبه للجيش مضمونه ان شاء الله.
وتوصلنا الى حد الساعه بهذا المنتوج الجديد الذي يعتبر الرشاش 12.7 دوسات اشكال معروف المحمول على العربات. هذا كاخر منتوج، والبقيه كانت عندنا انتاجات دخلنا عليها تحديدات.
الانتاج تاعنا
انتاج 100% محليا في خجله.
The President of the Republic called for the promotion of public-private partnerships and an increase in the pace of the national industrial integration, in particular the mechanical engineering industry, armored vehicles, engines, control systems, and weapons. Italy, this year's guest of honor, is presented by 13 exhibitors in various fields. At the stand of the car maker Fiat, the President insisted on the imperative need to accelerate the production of this Italian brand in Algeria in order to meet the needs of the local market.
أي مشكل مباشرة الوزير مباشرة بالرئاسة.
كاين وزارة الصناعة قايمة بالدور وحتى الوزارة الأولى.
ما نضيعوش الوقت السوق محتاج سيارات.
30 startups, on the other hand, are gathered in Algeria Tech Space, visited as well by the President of the Republic, who emphasized the need to establish partnerships between the Algerian and African startups, with the aim to move towards the export of innovative products to African markets, stressing that Algeria is deeply counting on young investors.
هذا ما يمنعكمش ربما مع الستارت اب تاع الدول المجاورة والدول الإفريقية بصفة عامة باش تكون شراكة بيناتكم ويفابريكي فوتر موديل سينيغال وكاميرون كوت ديفوار.
Merci pour les encouragements. Merci.
Je vous félicite et je vous remercie pour l'Algérie.
Merci.
هذوما des défis. Quand on relève des défis comme ça, on rentre dans la mécanisation du pays, on rentre dans le truc.
At the stand of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, the President of the Republic listened to a detailed presentation on the project to produce sugar from sugar beet, a product easily achieved in the south of the country, notably in Adrar and Ouatsouf, in the presence of all the necessary means.
لا بيتراف أنا شفتها في الجنوب، شفتها في واتسوف وشفتها في أضرار. لا بيتراف سكريات تلحق 5 كيلو. Avec une teneur en sucre extraordinaire que tu n'as pas en Europe. Oui, c'est une teneur très forte en sucre. وتما في الجنوب عندنا الماء الحمد لله. عندنا les arrosoirs, عندنا tout ce qu'il faut, donc on peut faire une production extraordinaire de betteraves sucrières.
Furthermore, and amid his visit to the various stands of the Algiers International Fair, the President of the Republic exchanged talks with economic operators and heads of public and private companies. He hailed the significant improvement in the business climate in Algeria thanks to the new legal framework for investments.
The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman also paid a visit to the Algiers International Fair and toured the booths of national products where he inquired about the local production and the volume of exports. General of the Army Said Chingriha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, paid a work-in and inspection visit to the National High School of Military Administration in the 2nd Military Region in Iran. Rania Al-Bahri will give us the details of the visit.
After the welcoming ceremony held by Major General Mohammed Al-Tayyib Brakni, commander of the 2nd Military Region, Major General Said Chingriha moved to the Higher School of Military Administration, where he followed a presentation given by the school commander on the various educational aspects and infrastructure of this prestigious training institution. During his meeting with the executives and trainees of the Higher School of Military Administration, the Army General delivered a directive speech in which he expressed at first his pleasure at holding this meeting with the executives and students of this prestigious school a few days before the graduation and promotion ceremony. According to him, this prestigious school benefited from special attention at all levels, in particular by providing all the necessary human and educational resources, as well as modern and sufficient materials capable of allowing students and trainees to benefit from a quality education that meets the requirements of professionalism. The Army General urged the trainees of the school in their capacity as future executive directors of People's National Army in the field of military administration to face the great challenges that await them, especially in the particular geopolitical context prevailing on a global level and on a regional scale, and to be up to the great challenges, adding that Algeria is determined to overcome these challenges, and this is due to the permanent support and wise directions of the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, who leads our country with wisdom, foresight, and legitimate ambition towards building a new Algeria through a promising development project and a rational foreign policy that calls for peace and solutions to conflicts, common security, and preserving human life, while ensuring that the international system is more balanced, just, and more representative. After that, the Army General followed up assistance interventions before giving a series of directives and recommendations related in particular to the need to redouble efforts even to ensure the best completion of the assigned tasks. At the end of this visit, the Army General went to the family's rest house in Al Morjan, situated at Bosfor municipality, to coincide with the presence of the Major General Director of Social Service at the Ministry of National Defense, who inaugurated this new infrastructure. Later on, the Major General received full explanation about the various new amenities that are capable of contributing to the improvement of social services for the benefit of military personnel and their families.
هي عطلة سعيدة. قريتوا مليح يا أخي. السلام عليكم.
And we continue our coverage of the military graduation ceremony that's taken place across the national territory. It is the turn of the School of Command and Major Staff in addition to the Military Polytechnic School. Rania Al-Bahri with a roundup of the two ceremonies.
The graduation ceremony began by reviewing the regular graduating class at the Flag Square by Major General Ammar Thamniya, Commander of the Ground Forces. After inspecting formations present on the Flag Square by Major General Ammar Thamniya, the commander of the School of Command and Major Staff gave a speech on the occasion in which he evoked the main aspects of the training and the military and scientific knowledge acquired by the students. After the students laureates received their certificates, Major General Ammar Thamniya agreed for the graduating class to bear the name of the Shahid Ali Buhri. The ceremony was ended by military exhibition. On the sidelines of the ceremony, General Major Ammar Thamniya attended at the school's educational complex a presentation on the activities carried out during the school year and before presenting distinctions to the family of Shahid Ali Buhri and signing the school's golden book. At the end of the training year, and as part of the graduation ceremonies of the various schools and training structures of the National People's Army, the Shahid Talib Abdurrahman Polytechnic Military School in Burj Al Bahri here in Algiers celebrated the graduation of the 50th class of engineering officers and the 8th class of complementary master students who had the honor of bearing the name of Shahid Mekni Abdel Qadir. The ceremony was presided over by Major General Ali Sidan, commander of the 1st Military Region, in the presence of military and civilian authorities, national media, as well as families of the students and that of Shahid Mekni Abdel Qadir, to whom an honorable tribute was paid.
In the context of the continuous efforts in combating terrorism and securing the borders, detachments of the People's National Army arrested 42 support elements to terrorist groups in different operations, while another detachment seized in Aminas for Kalashnikov submachine guns, for grenades, and a quantity of ammunition. As for fighting organized crime, the continuation of the tireless efforts aimed at countering the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the People's National Army intercepted in coordination with the different security services during operations across the military regions 43 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce 21 quintals and 56 kilograms of processed kief through the borders with Morocco, while 1,560 grams of cocaine and 59,476 psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamaras, Burj Mukhtar, Ingizam, and Janet, units of the People's National Army arrested 181 individuals and seized 13 vehicles, 113 generators, 57 jackhammers, and 3 metal detectors, 116 quintals of mixture of raw gold and stones, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 10 other individuals were arrested and 7 hunting rifles were seized. Quantities of foodstuffs destined for smuggling and speculation amounting to 121 tons and 35 quintals of tobacco were also seized during separate operations across the national territory. Similarly, border guards Arts in coordination with the National Gendarmerie and Customs also averted attempts to smuggle quantities of fuel estimated at 20,247 liters in Port Beji Mukhtar, Tbissa, Suqahras, and El Tarif. On the other hand, border guards thwarted at the level of our national coast attempts at illegal immigration and rescued 30 individuals aboard traditionally made boats, while 407 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory. The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman presided on Wednesday over a government meeting at the government's palace. In the field of transport, the government examined a preliminary bill laying down the general rules of civil aviation. In the field of youth and sports, the government examined a preliminary bill related to the organization and development of physical and sports activities presented by the Minister of the sector. In the field of hydraulics, the Minister of the sector presented a draft executive decree declaring the utility of the operation related to the supply of potable water in the municipalities and provinces of Jijil and from the dam of Tablut. In the sector of trade, the ministers responsible respectively for the interior, trade and agriculture presented a joint presentation on the organization of wholesale markets and then the integration of informal markets into the official sector. The government listened to a presentation by the Minister of Energy and Mines on the work carried out by the National Iron and Steel Company, Ferrel, as part of the development project of Garaj Bilat mine. Finally, in the field of culture and arts, the government listened to a first reading to a presentation on the main axis of the status of the artist and the proposal for a regulatory framework related to the system of social protection of artists presented by the Minister of Culture and Arts. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, continues his work and visit to Europe, where he was received on Wednesday in Belgrade by Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić and other Serbian government officials. Here's Sabarin Tefrginit.
At the behest of the President of the Republic, the Minister of Foreign Affairs continues his European tour. Ahmed Attaf was received on Wednesday by the Serbian President, to whom he conveyed the greetings of the President Abdelmajid Tebboune, reiterating his invitation to introduce a new momentum into the bilateral relations. The meeting was an opportunity to reaffirm the political will of both countries' leaders to raise the bilateral relations to higher levels, reflecting by that the quality and stability of the historic cooperation between the two countries going back to the glorious war of liberation. In this context, the Serbian President accepted the President of the Republic's invitation, willing to concretize it before the end of the year, representing by that a new era in the relations of the two countries. The visit was agreed to be prepared for and to include in it various activities headed by the visit of the Serbian Foreign Affairs Minister. Ahmed Attaf was received by the Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabić, with whom he reviewed bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries, as well as the means of strengthening them. On this occasion, the Prime Minister praised Algeria for its support for Belgrade's bid to host Expo 2027. Furthermore, the Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Attaf held talks with his Serbian counterpart Ivica Dačić, where the two sides reviewed ways of reviving the Algerian-Serbian relations. The two ministers also tackled means of enhancing and promoting the shared historical patrimony of the fight against colonialism, of the fruitful economic cooperation, and the ongoing political coordination within the framework of the non-aligned movement. Both parties agreed on an action plan to activate cooperation mechanisms, notably the Joint Commission and the Algerian-Serbian Business Council. Concerning the political coordination on regional and international issues, Attaf thanked his Serbian counterpart for his country's support for Algeria's bid for a non-permanent membership of the Security Council. For his part, the minister reiterated his readiness to work within the central UN body in accordance with the principles and values that bind the two countries within the framework of the non-aligned movement. The two sides also stressed the convergence of their positions concerning issues of major interest, notably Kosovo crisis and Western Sahara's cause. On this occasion, Ahmed Attaf paid a visit to Rizika Labidovic, the widow of the Serbian photographer and cameraman Stevan Labidovic, the author of reports and photographs on the War of the National Liberation, and who died on November 25th, 2017 at the age of 91 in Belgrade. The visit was in the presence of Marko Glitic, the head of the Association of Friends of Algeria and Serbia, a symbolic gesture to express Algeria's loyalty to its friends who supported the fight against colonialism.
The official spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the national community abroad categorically denies what has been published and has circulated through social networking sites and some media outlets of false news about the ministry's request to the Emirati ambassador to leave Algerian territory, stressing that this news is fake and unfounded, while stressing that the ministry's press releases are the only source of information. The spokesman expressed the strength and solidity of the distinguished Algerian-Emirati bilateral relations between the two brotherly countries and peoples, with the common keenness to raise them to the highest ranks in implementation of the common will of the leaders of the two countries, the President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune and his brother, His Highness, the President of the United Arab Emirates Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. According to a statement by the Audiovisual Regulatory Authority, after reviewing news published by Al-Nahar TV, which contains false information that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the national community abroad categorically denied, the authority added that the channel's officials were summoned to provide clarifications on the subject. Another communique by the Foreign Ministry that reads, Algeria strongly condemns the raid on the residence of the Algerian ambassador in Khartoum and the vandalism of its contents, and stressed the need to prosecute the perpetrators and saboteurs responsible for this criminal act, which constitutes a violation of international law and diplomatic norms. Algeria stressed the need to protect the headquarters of diplomatic missions and reiterates its call to all Sudanese parties to prioritize dialogue in order to put an end to the crisis according to the legitimate aspirations of the Sudanese brotherly people. It is worth noting that Algeria has evacuated its embassy staff in Sudan and members of the community following the crisis in this brotherly country. NTMV, or the National Maritime Transport Company, travelers announced on Tuesday in a communique that the Iran-Alicante-Iran line is back in service starting Wednesday from Alicante to Iran. With that, we end tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.